You know, I got to sing a hymn to calm down the nerves, so I'm going to sing for y'all real quick. Shine on me, oh, shine on me.
Yes, sir.
Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Oh, shine on me. Oh, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. I heard the voice of Jesus say, he say, come on to me and rest. He said, lay down the weary one, lay down thy head upon my breast. The title of my sermon this morning is You Are Called, and I'll be coming from the book of Mark, the 10th chapter, and verses 46 through 52. And may you all stand as we read.
Amen.
And once you found it, will you say amen? Amen. And it reads, now they came to Jericho. As he went out of Jericho with his disciples and a great multitude, blind Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus, sat by the road begging. And when he heard that it was Jesus of Nazareth, he began to cry out and say, Jesus, son of David, have mercy on me. Then many warned him to be quiet. But he cried all out the more, Son of David, have mercy on me. So Jesus stood still and commanded him to be called. Then they called the blind man, saying to him, be of good cheer, rise, he is calling you. And throwing aside his garment, he rose and came to Jesus. So Jesus answered and said to him, what do you want me to do for you? The blind man said to him, Rabboni, that I may receive my sight. Then Jesus said to him, go your way. Your faith has made you well. And immediately he received his sight and followed Jesus down the road. Amen. Lord, hide me behind your cross. I pray for the wisdom and knowledge to be spoken. Now bless the masses, the messenger, according to your riches and glory. In Jesus Christ's name I pray. Amen. Amen. You may be seated in the house of the Lord. Amen. You see, we all are called. Every one of us in here are called for specific reasons. It might be to preach. It might be to teach. It might be to care for someone. And it might be to forgive others. But the main thing that we are all called to do is to believe in God. Yes. And what does believing in God mean? It means having faith in him just like the blind beggar did. And I know that everyone does not believe in God, but you want to know something? God cares about those people and he will always be there. Amen. And in Revelations 3:20 it says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in to him and dine with him, and he with me. And that means that God trusts and cares about all of us, no matter what type of person we are or what type of beliefs that we may have. But back to Mark 10:46 through 52. It starts with Jesus and his disciples in Jericho. And you might ask, why were they in Jericho? They were there because they were on their way to Jerusalem to celebrate the Passover. And the Passover, which is explained in the book of Exodus, was when God sent his final plague to Egypt. And that plague was to kill all of the firstborn of each family if they did not listen to the Lord's commands. And his commands were to first sacrifice a perfect male lamb. Secondly, God told the people to paint the lamb's blood on the doorframe of their homes. And also the Israelites, which are the slaves, were to quickly cook and eat the lamb. And while they were eating the lamb, God told them to be ready to leave. And if they had followed those commands, the firstborn child of each family would be safe. You see, following God's commands can be challenging. You see, God often asks us to sacrifice something in order to obey him. And also, as humans, we are all full of pride. And in Philippians 2:8 it says, and being found in appearance as a man, he humbled himself and became obedient to the point of death, and even the death of the cross. But making mistakes in life is okay. But the reason that God sent that plague was to get Pharaoh to free the slaves. You see how the people who put the blood on the doorframe followed the Lord's commands? Because they did that because that's what they were felt called to do. You see, we all have that feeling of doing the right thing. For example, the first thing we ought to do is we ought to pray. And in Matthew 6, it introduces us to the Lord's Prayer. We learned that when we were little kids. And it says, our Father, which art in heaven. Y'all know the rest. I ain't got to say it all. But another example of doing the right thing is by loving one another. Because through God, we all are created equal. Another thing that we can do is we can live out the word. But picking back up in Mark, Bartimaeus, who was the blind beggar, heard that Jesus was there. And he shouted, Jesus, son of David, have pity on me. And the people around him, they were mocking him, they were laughing at him, and thinking that he was foolish. But he ignored those people because he had faith and he believed in God no matter what anyone had to say. And you see, we have people that are in our lives that try to tear us down, that try to test our faith, that try to lead us into doing worldly things. But we are called to be different. Yes. We are called to turn away from temptations. We are called to pray for one another. Yes. We are called to love thy neighbor. We are called to spread the gospel. But mainly and most of all, we are called to live like Jesus. But Jesus heard him. And Jesus told his disciples to call him over. And they told Bartimaeus, do not be afraid. Look at this. You're in the bottom of a pit, lowest of the low, dead like a corpse, totally deprived, lifeless, can't do anything. Bartimaeus, he was the low of the low. But he was not afraid at all. And I love that he didn't hesitate. He took off his coat, ran through the crowd. He valued Jesus more than he valued his own life. He threw caution through the wind. He physically blind or running from here to wherever. You see, we all ran in the dark to where we couldn't see anything. But nothing else mattered to him because he wanted to get to Jesus. He knew what he wanted from the Lord. Immediately, he asked for his sight. He didn't want wealth nor power, but he wanted his vision. And Jesus told him, he said, you may go. Your eyes are healed because of your faith. When God healed him, he continued on to Jerusalem with them. When we believe, God can bless us in so many ways. See, Bartimaeus started as a blind beggar on the side of the road. Then Jesus called him into his presence, and he recovered his sight. And he kept going with Jesus to Jerusalem to the cross. This is where we must follow Christ as well. Jesus didn't call us to live for ourselves, but rather to deny ourselves.
Amen. That's right.
And I have a couple questions for y'all today. How do you pick up your cross daily and follow God? What is God calling you to do? What is God calling in your life to do for him? And are you living your life for God daily, or are you just living in the world and not doing what God is calling you to do?